The 1975 Lincoln penny may look like an ordinary 1-cent coin, but what if one hiding in an old collection could be worth hundreds, or even around $1,000? Before you spend that old penny or toss it into a jar, take a closer look. Because today, we are going to explore the history, design, mint marks, rare varieties, eras, condition, and potential value of the 1975 United States 1-cent Lincoln penny. Welcome back to Coin Collection 1, where we uncover the stories and secrets hidden inside the world's most fascinating coins. So make sure you subscribe to Coin Collection 1, because you never know when an ordinary-looking coin might turn out to be something special. The 1975 Lincoln cent is part of one of the most famous coin series in American history. Millions of Americans have handled Lincoln pennies, carried them in their pockets, placed them in piggy banks, or simply ignored them as loose change. But for coin collectors, every penny can be worth a closer look. The 1975 issue is especially interesting because it comes from an important period in American history and belongs to the classic copper Lincoln Memorial cent era. At first glance, there may not seem to be anything unusual about this coin. The obverse features the famous portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, while the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., but beneath this familiar design is a fascinating history of American coin production, changing economic conditions, minting technology, and the search for rare coins. The Lincoln cent itself has a remarkable history. It was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The portrait of Lincoln was created by famous American sculptor Victor David Brenner. His design became one of the longest-running portraits ever used on United States coinage. The original reverse design featured two wheat ears surrounding the words 1 cent and United States of America. These became known as wheat cents. But in 1959, the United States Mint changed the reverse design to feature the Lincoln Memorial. This new design was created by Frank Gasparro and continued for nearly 50 years. By the time the 1975 Lincoln cent was produced, the memorial reverse had already become a familiar part of American life. The coin was being produced in enormous quantities to meet the demands of everyday commerce. It was used in stores, restaurants, vending machines, parking meters, and countless other places across the country. The 1975 penny has a diameter of approximately 19 millimeters and weighs about 3.11 grams. It has a plain edge and was produced with the traditional bronze composition used for Lincoln cents before the major composition change of 1982. This means that the 1975 cent belongs to the classic copper-colored era of American pennies. The copper composition is one reason collectors enjoy these older Lincoln cents. If you compare a 1975 penny with a modern zinc-based Lincoln cent, you can notice differences in weight and composition. The 1975 cent has the familiar solid bronze appearance that collectors associate with older American pennies. But now we come to one of the most important details that every collector should check: the mint mark. A 1975 Lincoln cent can have no mint mark or a mint mark identifying the facility where it was produced. 1975 cent with no mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The Philadelphia Mint produced billions of these coins. A 1975 D Lincoln cent was struck at the Denver Mint and carries a small d beneath the date. Denver also produced billions of Lincoln cents during this period. The 1975 S cent, identified by the S mint mark, is associated with San Francisco and is primarily found as a proof issue. Proof coins were specially made for collectors using specially prepared dies and planchets. They typically have sharper details and more attractive surfaces than ordinary circulation coins. So, if you have a 1975 penny, the first thing you should do is carefully examine the area beneath the date. Look for a D, an S, or no mint mark at all. But remember one very important fact: a 1975 penny without a mint mark is not automatically rare. Philadelphia cents were intentionally made without mint marks, so the absence of a mint mark is normal. This is where many online videos and social media posts can become misleading. You may hear someone claim that a 1975 penny without a mint mark is worth thousands of dollars. In reality, the missing mint mark is normal for Philadelphia coins. The real value comes from other factors such as condition, rarity, varieties, eras, and professional certification. So what could make a 1975 Lincoln cent valuable? The first major factor is condition. Coin collectors carefully examine how much wear a coin has experienced. A penny that spent decades circulating through millions of hands will usually show scratches, marks, dirt, and wear. But a coin that was protected immediately after leaving the mint can remain in remarkable condition. This is where grading becomes extremely important. A circulated 1975 penny may be worth only a small amount above face value, depending on its condition. But an extremely high-grade example can be worth considerably more. Professional grading companies examine coins and assign grades based on their condition. The difference between a good coin and an exceptional coin can sometimes be enormous. Collectors also pay attention to the coin's color. Copper Lincoln cents can be classified as brown, red-brown, or red. A beautifully preserved red Lincoln cent with original surfaces can be much more desirable than a heavily circulated brown example. This is one reason some 1975 Lincoln cents can reach surprisingly high prices. The coin itself may be common, but finding one that survived decades in nearly perfect condition is much more difficult. According to PCGS Coin Facts, an exceptionally high-grade 1975 Philadelphia Lincoln cent graded MS68RD achieved a reported auction price of $9,000. That is an extraordinary result, but it is extremely important to understand what this means. It does not mean every 1975 penny is worth $9,000. Such prices apply only to exceptionally rare, high-grade examples that meet very demanding standards. The 1975 D cent also demonstrates how condition can dramatically affect value. An exceptionally high-grade 1975 D Lincoln cent graded MS67+ has also achieved a price of several $1,000s at auction. Again, these are special coins at the very top end of the grading scale, not ordinary circulated pennies. This is why a $1,000 estimated market value for a 1975 Lincoln cent should never be considered automatic. A coin worth around $1,000 would generally need something special to justify that price. It could be an exceptionally high-grade certified specimen, a significant mint error, a desirable variety, or another unusual characteristic that collectors strongly value. And that brings us to one of the most exciting areas of numismatics, mint errors. When millions or billions of coins are produced, mistakes can occasionally happen during the minting process. Collectors search for genuine errors such as off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, double strikes, die breaks, and other unusual mint-made characteristics. A dramatic genuine mint error can be worth far more than a normal example of the same date, but there is an important warning here. Not every unusual-looking penny is a mint error. Coins can be damaged after leaving the mint. They can be scratched, bent, squeezed, heated, chemically altered, or exposed to harsh conditions. Damage that happens after production usually does not make a coin valuable. This is why authentication is so important. If you believe your 1975 penny has a major error, do not immediately assume you have discovered a $1,000 coin. First, carefully examine the coin with magnification. Compare it with reliable photographs and references. If the coin appears genuinely unusual, professional authentication may be the best next step. Collectors also search for possible double dies and other varieties. However, many coins advertised online as double dies are actually examples of machine doubling or post-mint damage. A true double die variety has specific characteristics created during the die-making process. Identifying these varieties correctly can require experience and specialized knowledge. The 1975 S-Proof cent is another interesting coin for collectors. Proof coins were created specifically for collectors and were struck with specially prepared dies. Some examples display beautiful contrast between the mirrored fields and frosted design elements. These coins can be particularly attractive when preserved in excellent condition. If you find a 1975 S penny that looks dramatically different from an ordinary circulated coin, it may be worth investigating whether it is a proof. But once again, condition and authenticity are extremely important. Now, imagine finding a 1975 Lincoln penny in an old family collection. Maybe it has been sitting inside a box for 50 years. Perhaps someone placed it in a coin album and completely forgot about it. You take the coin out and notice that Lincoln's portrait is still sharp. The letters are clear. The memorial on the reverse shows strong detail. The surfaces appear clean, and the coin still has an attractive original copper-red color. At that moment, the coin becomes interesting. It may not automatically be worth $1,000, but it deserves closer attention. This is the real excitement of collecting. You are not simply looking for an old date. You are looking for something that separates one coin from millions of others. When examining your 1975 penny, start by checking the mint mark. Then examine the overall condition. Is it heavily circulated, lightly circulated, or apparently uncirculated? Next, look at the color. Is it brown, red-brown, or still strongly red? After that, inspect the date and lettering under magnification. Look for unusual doubling or other possible varieties. Examine the edge and surfaces for signs of a genuine mint error. If you have a digital scale, checking the weight can also provide useful information, although weight alone cannot prove that a coin is genuine or valuable. If you believe you have a valuable specimen, avoid cleaning it. This is one of the most important rules in coin collecting. Never use toothpaste, metal polish, chemicals, or abrasive materials to make an old coin look shiny. Cleaning can permanently damage the original surface and significantly reduce collector appeal. A naturally preserved coin is usually much more desirable than one that has been artificially polished. Handle collectible coins carefully by their edges. Avoid touching the surfaces unnecessarily and store valuable coins in suitable holders that protect them from scratches, moisture, and environmental damage. Another important question is whether the 1975 Lincoln cent is a good investment. The answer depends entirely on the individual coin. Common circulated examples are generally not considered major investments. The most promising coins are those with genuine rarity, exceptional grades, significant errors, or strong collector demand. Even then, no coin is guaranteed to increase in value. Auction results can change depending on market conditions, collector interest, and the competition among buyers. The biggest mistake a new collector can make is assuming that a high price listed online automatically represents the value of their own coin. Online marketplaces often contain unrealistic asking prices. A seller might list an ordinary 1975 penny for $1,000, but that does not mean anyone will actually pay $1,000 for it. The real market value is determined by what comparable coins have actually sold for, especially at reputable auctions and through established dealers. So if you have a 1975 Lincoln cent, what should you do? Do not throw it away. Do not clean it. Do not assume it is worth $1,000 instead. Examine it carefully. Look at the mint mark. Study the condition. Check the color. Search for legitimate varieties or errors. Compare it with reliable references. And if you believe you have something truly special, consider professional grading and authentication. The 1975 Lincoln cent is a perfect example of why coin collecting is so fascinating. Billions were produced, yet the finest surviving examples can still attract serious attention. A coin that most people would spend without thinking twice can become valuable when it possesses the right combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of the 1975 penny. Value is not always obvious. Sometimes, a coin can look completely ordinary until someone takes a closer look. The estimated $1,000 value associated with a special 1975 Lincoln cent should therefore be viewed as a potential value for an exceptional example, not a guaranteed price for every coin. The most valuable examples are generally those with exceptional grades, significant mint errors, recognized varieties, or other characteristics that make them genuinely scarce. So the next time you see a 1975 Lincoln penny, don't immediately ignore it. Pick it up, look at the date, check the mint mark, examine the surfaces. Because although most 1975 pennies are common, the right combination of rarity and condition can make certain examples much more interesting to collectors. And that is what makes the world of coins so exciting. You don't need to own a treasure chest to discover something fascinating. Sometimes, the history of an entire nation can fit inside the smallest coin in your pocket. If you enjoyed today's journey into the history and potential value of the 1975 USA 1 cent Lincoln penny, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Coin Collection 1, and turn on notifications for more fascinating coin discoveries. And don't forget to tell us in the comments, do you have a 1975 Lincoln penny? Does it have a D mint mark, an S mint mark, or no mint mark? And have you ever discovered a rare error or valuable coin in your collection? Share this video with your fellow coin collectors, because you never know who might have a rare penny hiding in an old collection at home. Remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes the smallest coins can hold the biggest surprises. This is Coin Collection 1. Keep searching, keep learning, and always take a second look at your change, because the next coin you find could be the one you've been looking for.